Yo, what's going on, people? Today I'm gonna teach you about arrays. Okay, let me just make a quick example. Let's say you want to create something and it requires that you have maybe let's say 50 numbers. Now when you're writing a C program, the way you would do that is you would do something like int, and then let's say maybe number 1, you say 1, and then int number 2, you say 2, int number 3, you say 3. Now you would have to do something like this about 50 times. First of all, that's a bit time consuming and it's tiring. You see, this is 2020 and we need a simpler way of doing things. Now arrays simplifies this process. Instead of you declaring many variables, you could just declare one variable which contains a lot of elements. Okay, this is what an array is. So I'm gonna declare a variable here, call it int, and then I say numbers. Okay, and then now I want to declare an array of let's keep it short and say 3 numbers. Okay, so I'm gonna put these square brackets here, and then inside these square brackets I'm gonna put the number of elements that I want in my array, which is 3. Okay, put my semicolon. Okay, this basically, it's almost an equivalent of declaring 3 int variables. Okay, now what the next thing we must do is assign values, okay, to this array. So in C, an array index starts at 0. An array index is basically the point at which you want to extract your value. Like for example, here there's 3 numbers. Let's say you want an element that's at the 2nd position. Okay, the way you would do that is you would use the number 1 to extract an element that's at the 2nd position. You use the number 1 because C starts counting at the number 0. So instead of saying 1 2, C will say 0 1. Okay, I know it's a bit confusing, let me just demonstrate to you here. So I'm gonna assign a number here to an array. Okay, the first position I'm gonna say 0, and then is equal to 12, and then number 2 is equal to 13, and then the last element 2 is equal to 14. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is I'm assigning the first element, I'm assigning 12. I retrieve the first element by the index of 0 here. Okay, because the C compiler starts counting at 0. Okay, so now I'm gonna print out the first element here. So I'm gonna use the printf function here, $d, and then I'm gonna say numbers, and then the first element, which is 0. Okay, and then I'm gonna compile this. Now as you can see, it prints the number 12. Let's say I want to print an element, the last element, so that's the number 2. Okay, because it's 0 1 2. So I go 2, and then I build my program, run it, and then as you can see, it prints the number 14 here. Okay, now let's say, okay, as you can see, there's like 3 elements here. Okay, let's say you want to get, we don't know the number of elements in an array, and we want to get them. What we would do is, there's a formula we would use, and that formula is int, let's say call it array size. Okay, and then array size is equal to size of, and then numbers divided by size of, and then int. Okay, now I'm gonna print this array size. Okay, I will explain what the size of operator means. Okay, now as you can see, it gives us the number 3, which is the number of elements we specified here. Okay, let's say maybe we assign our variable has 5 elements. Okay, I'm gonna close this program now, run it again, and our formula is accurate. It gives us the number 5, which is the number of total elements that are in our array. Okay, now let me show you something. Now as you can see, we have 5 elements in our array, but we only assigned 3 of those elements. Let me show you what happens if you try to print out an element where you never assigned a value to it. Okay, so I'm just gonna say numbers, and then the last element, which is 4. I'm gonna build, run my program. Now as you can see, it prints the number 8. I don't know where it gets the number 8 because we didn't assign it. So you need to be careful when using arrays, because if you don't assign a value, the compiler will just give you some random number which you don't know where it came from. Okay, so like, okay, let me explain what this size of means. Size of, okay, it gives you the memory size of a variable. Okay, the memory size it occupies of the variable. So here, when I said size of and I said numbers, okay, what it does is that since numbers is an array, it calculates, it adds all sizes of the elements in the array. Okay, and then it gives me the total. And then now what I do is I divide the size of one element, okay, which is an integer. Remember that all our values here are in integers, so size of and then numbers, it's gonna return a size of an integer in memory multiplied by the number of elements here, which at the moment is 5. So it basically adds all 5 memory sizes here. Okay, and then I divide by a size of an int to get the size of each element here. Okay, so that's how it works. And by the way, this int, it doesn't have to be an int. You can also make an array of a double. Okay, it's still gonna work. Okay, you see now it gives a random number because we accessed a variable that hasn't been assigned yet. But if we, let's say maybe assign 2 here, it should give us the number 14. Let me check what's the problem. Oh, instead of size of int, I should say size of double here, because we changed our data type. And then I'm gonna okay, I forgot something. Remember, this is a double here, so we need to change this to an F. Okay, yeah, it gives me the right answer now with a lot of zeros. Okay guys, now that's about it, when it comes to the basics of creating an array. I don't want to make this complicated. This is about it that you need to know. I will elaborate more on arrays as you get more advanced in C programming. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.